Welcome, everyone. This is the beautiful Making Matters Fresh Perspectives in Fine Craft of 2021. This is an annual exhibition that showcases work by our visiting summer instructors and the summer artistic staff. So that's our assistants and our artist fellows and many of the instructors that are teaching here this summer. So if you've never been to Peters Valley, the gallery, we're in the Sally D. Francisco Gallery, which is named after our founding director, Sally D. Francisco. And this building was a general store. Downstairs, we have our retail space, and then up here we do 4 to 6 rotating exhibitions every year. And this is actually the first exhibition of 2021. Since we had been closed in 2020, we had a show in March, and then we did our annual faculty show was online, and we had a couple other exhibitions online. So this was my first and last show that I set up for a long time. And I want to thank all of the participants for all of your beautiful work that's here. I want to thank Lakota and also Andrea, who's with us from Glassroots, was a big help in installing the show. So thank you to both of them. All of the pieces are online. We'll put a link in the chat so you can see them more closely there. And this show will be installed here and through August 17th. So hopefully you'll all get a chance to see it. You'll all get a chance to come. And so we're gonna start, we're gonna kind of walk around this way. And this piece is by Wyatt Douglas-Sievers. It's called Out of Sight, Out of Mind, Rising Tides Behind. It's made of maple, purple heart, gold acrylic paint, and Danish oil. And Wyatt is on, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about it.
I really enjoy making toilet plungers from time to time because they're something that works pretty hard for us, but they don't always get the credit they deserve. So I thought I'd make some ornate ones. And anytime I make them, they're always titled Out of Sight, Out of Mind, Rising Tides Behind. Just a little about how we tend to just kind of use things up and not think about it. And sometimes it catches up with us in the end. And the spread time that's on this particular plunger is something that comes up in a lot of my furniture. With just another kind of little technique about how we create things and using material, manipulating them. So it's just a little conversational piece. It's completely functional. It's never been used, but I'm sure it would work quite well if the owner that it's on loan from wanted to. So yeah, that's kind of it. I'm excited to teach at Peters Valley this summer. It's the craft school where I kind of got my start. So thank you, Peters Valley. Anything else?
No, that's awesome. Thank you, Wyatt. I love it. So we're moving on now to Lisa Westheimer. This is her piece, and it's double-sided. I'll walk you around it. It's called Fantasy Range. It's made of ceramic, glass, epoxy, and acrylic. And Lisa's going to tell us about it. And I think I heard somebody say, or I saw in the chat, I should mute myself. So I will, yes. Take it away, Lisa.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to have this piece in the show. It's called Colorado Fantasy Range, and I made it during the pandemic shutdown. And it's part of a series that I call Nostalgia. And because I was going through this nostalgia of places that I love and consider home, but couldn't get to because of the pandemic. So Colorado is one of the places that I consider home. And I made this out of ceramic and glass. There's 3 images that are fused into the glass of 3 different Colorado mountain ranges, the Maroon Bells, Capitol Peak, and Snowmass Peak. And I fused them together into one fantasy range because when I close my eyes, I don't see like specific mountain ranges. I just get this image in my head. And the frame is made of stoneware containing dirt from Colorado that I had the presence of mind to bring back with me. We had spent the winter in Colorado of winter of 2020, and we got home just before the shutdown. So I created this piece as part of my missing this place and wondering if I would ever get back to it again. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. It's great. This is an interactive musical instrument, which we haven't yet fully fixed up the amp to set it up because it just arrived today. But this is by Kreimer, and it is called Ribbon and Strings. It's made of maple, steel, magnetic pickup, and brass parts. And he has these, which you can get online too, these QR codes, which will bring you to sites where he's playing the instrument, I believe, are at one similar. And I'm not sure if we were able to get that video up, Lakota.
I think
Wendy's
going
got
to
it.
screen share it for us. Yes.
Great.
So I'll just speak for Jay that he'd be with us tonight, except that he's having his first post-vaccination live practice with his band. So he couldn't join us tonight.
That's okay. What a fun piece. And we will get it set up. It literally, like I said, it just arrived today. So we've got this photograph from Rick Wright. It's called Wissahickon Waltz, and it is film photography. And then we've got this piece here by Sashka Ross. It's a clay monoprint titled Focus, and Sashka's with us, and she's gonna tell us a little bit about the piece.
We can't hear you.
Is Sashka with us?
She is with us. She's just unmuted herself right now.
Yeah, sorry. I'm really glad to see everybody here at the opening. And one of the best things for me about COVID, it has been learning about Zoom and being able to watch the number of our programs of interest that I've been able to watch. And it's really changed my experience in such a negative time. And Peters Valley Gallery's added a lot to this. I'm teaching clay monoprinting in June, and it's a process I learned from the originator, Mitch Lyons, about 12 years ago. I was interested in it, but I never expected for it to become a major and considerable part of my studio practice. I feel a great affinity toward all things ceramic, clay, pottery, earth, gardening, fluidity, and I mix artist pigments with Tile 6 China clay. And that's how the image is made onto a leather hard green clay slab. And all the painting takes place on this surface. And then the image is printed onto Rime, which is a synthetic non-woven electromagnetically charged flat sheet of air conditioning filter paper. So obviously air conditioning filter paper pulls out dust. So it immediately attaches the color from that's mixed with the Tile 6 China clay. And sometimes the second or third print can be pulled from the image on the slab without adding additional color, because it's almost like an excavation. It pulls clay and color as each print is taken. So with the ghost imagery remaining, one image evolves into the next as in a series or grouping or family. So remnants, shadows, a continuity. It's material I spent about 6 months a year working with in Panama, and spent almost a full year the year before with COVID because the country was shut down. And it's really rewarding to have something like this to be focused on instead of everything else. Thank you.
Thanks, Sashka. This is a piece by Bruce Dehnert. And I'm not, maybe Kulvinder knows what it's called. We were waiting for some information for the label, but it's a beautiful kind of architectural sculpture made of ceramics. And we've got Bruce's dear friend Steve Cook did this piece called Kite. It is stoneware, copper sheet, and blue tarp. So if you get really close up, you can see that tarp in that. And then this piece is by one of our summer artistic staff, Molly Shape. Trapped, it's digital photograph with screen and scrap wood. And Molly is with us, so we are gonna hand this over to her to tell us a little bit more about this piece.
Hi, everyone. So these pieces are part of a larger series that I've been working on for some years now, titled When Pigs Fly. And with that work, I examine the realities, inequalities, and long-term effects of living near or below the U.S. federal poverty guidelines, where my family has lived their whole lives along that line. And so within my work, I try to look for this or create this heaven on earth within my surroundings. And in my statement, I talk about in this earthly life with its blood, sweat, and toil, most find little comfort. Their hope is in the next life with its promise of heavenly mansions nestled among lush pastures, along streets paved with gold. They long for a future homestead where there'll be no sorrow, pain, hunger, or burdens. And so with this piece, I took an image of my mom behind a screen, and I wanted to kind of give the viewer the perspective of how I was viewing my mom, thinking about generational poverty and being trapped in it. And then the piece next to it is also her being blinded by the light. And I see my mom and my parents as these saintly figures. And I was thinking of a story that my brother told me when I was younger of how where he thought he saw an angel on earth and talked to them. And what I could imagine of this person being is someone with like really bright eyes, kind of like when I was younger, watching VHS tapes with my parents because we didn't have cable. We watched a tape where it was about Moses in the burning bush. And when Moses heard from God, in the video, I remember him having these really bright angelic eyes, and then here my mom's being blinded. So yeah, just something I think about and still stuff that I'm working through, but yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Molly. And right here we have Ellen's mirror. You can see me in it. I kind of put these pieces together because I liked that idea kind of to play off what you're saying of connecting to this person in the photographs by then being in the mirror. So that was my little intention with the installation, but I think Ellen's with us. Ellen, do you want to say a few words about your mirror?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is the dressing mirror. It's actually of walnut. The layers of color and
We're having a hard time hearing you, Ellen.
oh no. I'm gonna
Try again.
So it was a okay. So yeah, the dressing mirror is made of walnut and blue dyed poplar, which I laminated as if someone was making plywood. And then what I did was I cut out circles. So I cut out the outer circle and then the inner circle. And then the base of the dressing mirror is actually from the inner circle of the mirror. And it was just kind of like a fun process. I normally inlay the dyed poplar into work. And so this was kind of just a different idea I had to use the dyed poplar. And if you look at the side of the dressing mirror, you can see the lamination of it's hard to see it's probably hard to see the blue dyed poplar in it. When you're there in person, you can definitely see it. And I'm just excited to be back this summer teaching in August. Oh, and then the back has the blue dyed poplar on the back of the dressing mirror that holds the glass in, that's holding the mirror in. Yeah, I'm just excited to be back in August.
Yeah, can you see that? I didn't even notice that. I'm glad you pointed it out. See, this is why we have all the artists here to talk about their work.
Yep.
That's all.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have this piece by Kulvinder Dhew. It's called Glitch Noir, Charcoal on Paper. Kulvinder, you with us?
Hi everyone. I hope you're all well. Yes, this is a charcoal drawing that I made just a month or so ago. And for those of you who are interested in wanting to see how it was made, I have a little video that I could share if you contact me through either the gallery or Peters Valley Gen, or even my website. So Glitch Noir is, it's not the reference to the film that was made, a science fiction dystopian film. However, it is a melancholic homage. Here at Peters Valley, we live in this place which is like Waterworld, and this drawing is part of a series that I'm involved in making. Hearing everybody's talk about their work really strikes a tone of poignancy for me, because as we're all aware, these times are very challenging, and the pandemic, if it has not done anything other than made us very aware of the important things in life and what matters, and the things that matter are humanity and how we are with each other, and also more importantly as an artist, the kind of stories we tell. And so yeah, it's a very poignant practice that we're so lucky to be involved in, and it's great that we can continue doing this. Talking about Bruce's work, the sculpture, I just wanted to point out that he sends his apologies, he can't be here. This is part of also a series that he made, which was on show at the Huntington Museum recently. And I think the series is on their website also. It's called Orball, and it is ceramic and invented glazes. And for those of you who are in ceramics, you would know that glaze, it's quite a unique glaze, and he also has special names for these glazes. And perhaps he'll be able to tell you if he may come in through the door, because he's gone to pick somebody up at the airport right now. Oh, thank you, Peter, Simon. Also, one last point, I'm teaching a painting class on July 30th. I'm not sure if there are any more places left. If there are, go ahead and we'd love to see you. And I'm also teaching independent study through Peters Valley, if that is something that would interest you guys. Again, I hope you're well, I hope you stay safe, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. These are by, let's see if I can show you them. Celia Shaheen, text tissue. They're double-sided, I'm sorry, my shadow's in here. Double-sided monotype on wove paper. And so they're all very double-sided. We decided to lay them because we didn't want to tamper with the beautiful edges and whatnot. And then this piece is by Sean Bales. It's called Trail Through Trees. It's an oil on canvas. And Jeanne Brennan, a watercolor on gallery wrapped canvas called Winsome Rose. And then this is a woven piece by Daryl Lancaster. It is called Magical. It is made of cotton, rayon, wool, linen, silk, and metallic. And I believe Daryl is with us and is going to tell us a little bit more about it.
Hi, thank you, Brienne. Yes, one of the interesting things about textiles, and I was trying to think if any other medium can do this as well, is that in textiles, you do make final products that come off the loom, like rugs or shawls or scarves or tapestries, but you can also take your raw materials and make them into different raw materials. And the fun thing about that for me is because my main focus with textiles is garments. So I weave to get a new raw material to make garments from. And I chose to put the yardage into this exhibit because that's in fact what I'm teaching in August. It's a 5-day class where you bring a lot of what's on your shelf. You know, this is about learning to work with what you have and how to integrate it together. I like to combine different types of yarn, different weights of yarn, and in each of those they get their own voice because they have a different structure. And so from it, wow, it's neat from a distance because I don't usually get that far back from my work, but a lot of it is hand dyed. And I'm able to combine a lot of different elements in my studio. What I do is kind of walk around with a basket and I pull things from the shelves, small bits of this, a little bit bigger of that. And I kind of end up with a big basket of stuff that is sort of related. And then I go through this painstaking calculations and process of what I had and how far I can run with it. And so this is the result of that. It will ultimately be some kind of clothing. You can see a little bit of the twill structures next to some plain weave structures. And then there's other elements because I have heavier yarns that are in a mock supplemental over a ground. And so it is a combination. Oh, really nice close up, Brienne. Good job. So it is really a combination.
Some glitter in here too, right? Like there's something
yes,
sparkly.
that's right.
Probably not picking up on the screen, but it's really nice.
In certain lighting you'll really get it, and it is it's a lot of fun for me to work this way, and it's a great way to use up small quantities of things, which is really what I'm teaching. When everybody leaves the class, they should end up with a very cool piece of yardage to then do whatever they want to do with it. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys are all gonna have to come see the show in person because there's so many little details that unfortunately we can't capture. This piece is by Maggie Seinfeld, another one of our summer artistic staff. It's called I Never Met a Man Who Didn't Like George, an inkjet printing Mollykate. I'm not even gonna try to say this. I think Maggie's with us and she's gonna pronounce that paper for us.
Hi, everyone. It's a Mollykate Unaru Japanese handmade rice paper. And if you go in detail, you can see very fine texturized pieces of it. Maybe not on the Zoom, but it's there. So this is from a series, I Never Met a Man Who Didn't Like George. And I started about 2 years ago. And it's based on a relationship I had with my grandfather, who I had never met. He passed away a few years before I had been born. And the project started off initially with me building my own sets and putting myself in it in terms of how I would have interacted with him. And then we were sent home to COVID. And so, like everyone else, I had to really figure out how my practice was and how it would change. And I realized I had already had a relationship with him. And it was through the objects he once owned and touched. So I moved into still life work. And I really then began to realize that it was all there all along. And you can really sense that through the light going through the vase that was once his and once his mother's from Sicily. And you can see that through the flower petals and how they're almost like whispers of his own voice. So this was a really fun piece to bring to Peters Valley for that. So thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I don't know if you can see here, I tried this because it's white, you can really see the texture of the paper. It's really beautiful. And we have a pin pendant and another pendant by Caryn Hetherston. These have sterling and fine silver and gold and agate. And they're great because, like I said, they can be worn as pins or pendants. And then Elizabeth Tokley has this warrior collar. It is with a chainmail technique. So they're all tiny little jump rings. It's a little hard to see on here, made of sterling silver. And Don Friedlich has these pieces this is dichroic glass with borosilicate glass and 14 karat gold. And I'll try to see it like changes color when you move around it. It's really neat. I can't get all the, there's a little bit of that color. It's pretty cool. And these are his Aqua Series earrings, sterling with 24 karat gold plating. And then we're going to come back over here. We don't want to forget any pieces. So this is a carved wooden bowl by Kate Hawes. Bowl with toothed edge. It's black walnut and linseed oil. Really beautiful.
Okay.
And next to that, we have this really fun chair that has been getting a lot of compliments. And this is by one of our summer artistic staff. This is Kat Nash. It's called, what is it called? Unboring. That is a very fitting title. It's poplar and polyfoam batting, yarn, cloth, and paint. And I believe Kat is with us.
Hello, I'm hoping you guys can hear me.
We can hear you, yeah.
Cool, I'm having some minor computer issues, but we're making it work. My work, in my practice, I create functional but somewhat impractical home objects. I think a lot about body positioning and interaction, and my work looks at themes of chronic pain, queerness, childhood, and play. And this piece was created during the pandemic, during 2020, and the chair itself has a simple form with decoration meant to defy the adult standard of what is professional. And that's something that I'm interested in doing like throughout my life. And the chair itself is made with mortise and tenon joinery, and the seat is done with a loop tufting gun, loop pile, and I also upholstered the seat. And the patterns are inspired by the colors and patterns of the Memphis movement and the aesthetics of my childhood in the early 2000s. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And so now we'll go one more like pan. So we saw all of these pieces. So that's like about halfway through the show, I think. And then now we're going to look at all of these amazing pieces. So we're going to start with Jamie Herman. He is our woodworking artist fellow this summer. This is cross lamps number 2 through 4. It is ash veneer, cherry, and fiberglass. And they are all adjustable. So should you choose you need to own this piece and hang it in your home, it will fit in any kind of space because they can all be at different lengths and in different relations to each other. So Jamie, do you want to tell us about them?
Yeah. Hello. Hopefully you can hear me also. Brienne, I'm going to have Lakota turn the lights out, so don't get scared.
Hey, thanks for the warning.
There we go. Hopefully that looks okay. But these lamps are based on some experiments I've done with a technique involving wood veneer with fiberglass and epoxy. And it's a technique borrowed from boat building, actually. So a lot of times when you build a wooden canoe or kayak, you skin the outside with fiberglass and coat it in epoxy. And the fiberglass gives it durability and the epoxy makes it waterproof, which is great for boats. And so these, the fiberglass and epoxy is just sandwiched around really, really thin sheets of wood that just get enough light through to create this really nice kind of warm glow that I really love. And I've done a lot of weird geometric shapes with them. You can cut them in all sorts of different shapes and get all sorts of cool effects out of it. And something I really love about them is the kind of the interplay of the grain of the wood, which you can see, and how kind of the grain has different transparencies based on, you know, which part of the tree it's from. And I really love the kind of the juxtaposition of that natural beauty with this very kind of engineered and constructed environment I put it in. And that's something I love about woodworking in general, is the idea of kind of how we as makers impose ourselves on our environment and what that means. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and there are the lights. That was cool. I think we saw some detail. I think you can really see that veneer is beautiful. And this is a beautiful piece by Sophia Park called Sprouting. It is made of sterling silver. And I'm trying to get out of the light and not block it, but there's this beautiful detail. If it's not showing up here, definitely check it out online, but it's a really gorgeous piece. And this is by Matt Nolan. It's called Split Harlequin and it's porcelain. And then next to that, one of our ceramics assistants this summer, this is Grace Kerr. It's called Cave Number 6, Stoneware, Glaze, and Glass. And I believe Grace is with us.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Hi.
Tell us about your piece, please.
Yes. So I like to make my work related to the natures, and so I make this sculpture about 2 months ago. It's a couple series about the caves, the inside cave structures, and I try to make this piece to depict that feeling of when you are inside a cave, you feel like calmness, and you can feel the energy inside of the cave. So I try to make that you can walk around all angles to see the details, and I also use the glass beads, so to melt like inside of the cave, how the water floats. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm very sorry if my phone went blank for a minute. And I wanted to show you the back of this piece because this is really cool too. I love these like textures and colors playing off each other. And we're gonna come over this way, I think, next. And this piece is by Wendy Weiss. It's called Gaza Scar Camp. It's cotton and natural dye. And Wendy is gonna tell us about it.
Hi, thank you. Really happy to be here, and congratulations, Brienne. And it's been great to be able to work with you. I've been concerned with political ideas for a long time in my work. And sadly, in the news today, we're hearing about Gaza again. I designed this in 2018 when there were flare-ups on the border. And I feel like we really need to turn our attention to that part of the world where some kind of resolution has to happen because it's such a humanitarian crisis. Technically, this is called ECOT. And what I do is I design the piece beforehand and then prepare all the warp threads first with the pattern. I dye it and then I put it on the loom and weave it. And the weave structure is also part of the design. You can see the different textures in the pieces as Brianne moves the camera around. So thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you. And we have this ceramic piece called Water Souls by Janis Cutler-Gear. And it's got a lot happening on it. I'm gonna try to walk around. And then we've got Cynthia Fisher, who works in mosaics. This is called Exploration of the Grid number 9. It's vitreous glass, broken pottery, and contorno. It's got all these little, some very little pieces in there. And then let's see, we've got Joe Guerriero. This is a photograph from Cuba, Cologne, Cuba, black and white film. And Kimberly Winkle made this patchwork mirror, polychrome poplar and fiberboard. And we've got this scarf, which you can touch part of it if you come in. This is by Jeanne Brady, and it's 4 Seasons Infinite Summer Bamboo and Rayon, and it's like an infinity scarf, so it's just one loop. We've wrapped it around twice, but it's got this really fun print on it. And we have this beautiful ceramic platter by Mollykate, Geddis, Urchin Skeletons, Stoneware, Slip and Glaze. And I believe Mollykate is with us. She's one of our summer artistic staff.
Yes, hello. This is my piece, Urchin Skeleton. And it's a part of a body of work where I was really interested in, natural processes and themes that the eye can't see, and then blowing them up in this very tangible way with clay. And it uses a sort of repetitive and rhythmic mark making that's very obsessive and sort of integral to the way that I make art. It's very meditative for me. And this form is a hand-thrown slab, which sort of involves that unique shape, and it also gives it a different texture throughout the piece with the thickness with that hand-thrown slab, and then added coils right on top and pinched throughout to kind of raise it up to give it this tactile vibe to it. And this green and blue is slip, and it's sort of reminiscent of the very literal Mother Earth, blue and green. And that is really this piece here. Thank you.
Thank you. I was trying to get all that. I mean, it's so detailed underneath, and you've got all these little dots. Yeah, super cool. And next we have this piece by Ken Burton. It's called Darkness Spills, Sycamore Copper Sapelli. I never know how to say that one. And it's got some text. So we have a printout of it here, but I'm gonna break the rules and touch it and show you the inside. Ken, do you want to tell us about this piece?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody tonight, or hear you, or whatever we're doing. So this is one of an ongoing series of small wall cabinets I've been making that they're a little bit more conceptual than they are practical, although you can store a few things in there. This one is called Darkness Spills, and it has a small drawer that pokes through the doors. And there is it's fronted with patinaed copper, the drawer is. You can see there, wow, it looks kind of weird in the video. I like it. But there is a bit of text, a poem on the inside, which is where the title of the cabinet comes from. And it reads, boards joined at their ends, containing space and treasures and memories, both real and imagined, holding in the darkness until the doors open and the darkness spills out. So it was a fun piece to make. Hope you get a chance to see it in person. So, and hope I see all of you this summer. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. And moving, we've just got a few pieces left. And I think I'm going to come back around because I know there was another piece up at the top. So I'll come back to those. Don't let me forget them. This is by Anna Koplik, who is running our blacksmithing studio this summer. And I'm going to try to get a good, you know what, this isn't locked. I'm going to open this so I can get in close. Anna, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, please pick it up or move it or whatever you want to do. It's sturdy. Hi, everyone. I am a blacksmith and primarily do functional work. I do a lot of architectural work and tool making, and every once in a while try and do something a little more artistic and feel weird about it a lot as someone who does functional work. And the way that I often push myself to explore something a little more artistic and inspired, not necessarily by a concept, but by the forging process itself and just like my need to create and explore different shapes and forged elements. A lot of the time what I'll do is just take like a piece of scrap, whether from a scrap pile or just like the end that is cut off of some tongs or whatever falls on the floor by my anvil, and just take this like random little part and use that as my starting place. So I have some sort of place to start, something containing where I can go, and then just see what I can do with it, see how I can stretch the material and what happens. And I never go into it with much of a plan. Maybe one element that I wanted to try or one forging process I want to play with, but I sort of let the process and my own enjoyment of it shape how the piece ends up going. So that's what happened with this one. I ended up making a weird little wing and forge welding things, and somehow it became a circle, and I was happy with it. So, yeah. Thank you, everyone.
And I'm sorry that there's like a mirror and a, check it out online because she's got a photo of it without all the distractions. But I put it in, we have these cases with mirrors, and I think they're really fun when you're actually here in person, because then you can kind of see, you know, all sides of the pieces. So just like these two. So Maddie Meyer is our metal assistant. This is called Donut Ring, sterling silver and glass marble. And I think Maddie's with us. You want to tell us about this piece?
Yeah, so I also would like to invite you to take it out and move it around if you'd like, just because there is a moving element. So I am going to be an assistant here at Peters Valley. I have not gotten to campus yet, but I'm very excited to arrive next week. I am a metalsmith, and a lot of my work focuses kind of on themes of play and wearability. So I really like to blur the lines of like what is made for play and what is made to wear. Donut Ring and specifically is part of an 8-piece ring series. And this kind of fun marble cage concept came when I was learning how to set stones. And I actually did not know how to set stones traditionally, so I kind of did this instead. A little weird roundabout way, but now it's pretty prevalent in a lot of my work. And then one last thing I would like to include is I have a really big affinity for like mass-produced toys and objects, and that really, really shows in my work. And this year with the pandemic, it's been really, really hard to make. And I found that by allowing myself to problem solve through playing around and experimenting and just making joyous objects has been a nice motivator to kind of keep going. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know if Talya is with us, but Talya is our Fine Metals Artist Fellow this summer, and this is called Framed Brass, Spinel, Cubic Zirconia, and Steel. And if you can see, she's got these little cubic zirconias in the back too. So that's, again, I was trying to show that with the mirror, but you probably can't see it here. But it's a very intricate piece. Talya's not on with us, right? I don't think so. And then we have two more pieces. Do not want to forget them. They're up high, so they were above mine. This is by Natalie Skopta. This is Untitled 11, natural dye and ink on paper. Sorry about that. It's a little high for me, but it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And then we have one other piece by our Youth Artist Fellow, Tiana. It is called Earth 3, and it is modeling paste, natural pigments, and stone powder. I'm not sure, is she with us?
I think she's on tonight.
Right. And so I think that's all the work in the show. And we got a lot of insight on many of these pieces. So that is awesome. Thank you everyone who told us more, brought us more in depth with their work. That was really, really interesting. And I don't know if anybody has questions, we probably could take some questions, or if you want to ask any of the presenters questions, we can put them in the chat and Lakota can read them. So you can see some of that color, and we just take a final look around. So if anybody, and you can also just unmute yourselves and ask your questions if you would like to, please. This is the show, and like I said, it will be up until here's a question. So about Sashka's piece. So it's on this Remay filter material. I was trying to show this earlier. Sashka, do you want to? Sashka's still with us. You can kind of see the texture.
You're still muted. You have to unmute.
Sorry.
Yeah, here you can see it down here really good. Like there. It's really nice. It's not like a flat paper, you know, it's just got a little bit of texture that comes out, and it comes out more in some parts than others. So it's really quite interesting to look at.
So it has a texture printed on one side, and then it's, because it's non-woven, it's a generalized synthetic texture. And you can print on either side, but I prefer to print on the side that has the printed grid. And that's what you're seeing in this image. It's the printed grid. And it's very odd, having been a printmaker for so many years, that you can use something that is so not natural paper, not canvas, not anything. And then you can apply these amazing colors and get this richness of layers, almost like an excavation when you start printing. So I don't know what the question was, but
I think there's asking about the material. So I think you answered it.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else has questions. Something about a ring. I'm trying to see these coming in, but I'm on my phone, so it's very hard.
I can read the question for you, Brienne. It says, it was the piece with the ring with the moving element. Joshua says, I understand it's one of 8 other pieces not featured in the gallery. So I guess the question is maybe where can we see those other pieces?
So right now they're on my Instagram. It is one of 8. I am currently making a website. So at some point that would also be linked to my Instagram. So I guess I could share that if.
Yeah, put your Instagram in the chat.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's a fun piece.
Thank you.
Very fun. Any other questions, or you're just gonna have to come see the show in person? So, thank you. I guess this is all the questions. Well, thank you all for joining us. And I'm signing off, I guess, kind of officially on this one. But I will
officially
miss all of this. I'm still working a couple more days, so come in the gallery. I'm a couple of days, and like I said, I'll still be around. So if you do come to Peters Valley, please be in touch. And thank you, everyone. It's been so wonderful for all of you that I have met. I will miss so many things about working at Peters Valley. So heavy heart.
We'll miss you so much. Thank you for your hard work and for your beautiful exhibitions. And
Thank you.
John says thank you too.
Thank you.
We're gonna miss you.
We are. Good luck and thank you, everyone. And there's also going to be a catalog, right, for the exhibition?
Yes, we literally just ordered it, and we will be posting that online. All the links to that online. So please stay tuned for that. I think we did literally just order it before we came on tonight. So there will be a catalog for the reminder. Have a wonderful night, everybody. And thanks again to all the artists, and have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We would like to thank our sponsors for making programs like this possible. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive more like it in the future.